I'm your host, Pat's Path Predictor, and we have breaking news. Alright, so this is the situation we have right here. Tropical Storm Estelle has formed. It is now a 40-mile-per-hour tropical storm. Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest public advisory. It is currently at latitude 13.2 north, longitude 102 west. It is moving to the northwest near 10 miles per hour, up from 8 before. Maximum sustained winds have increased to 40 miles per hour. Tropical storm force winds extend 45 miles from the center, and the pressure's down to 1,006 millibars. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at this interesting thing right here. Additional strengthening is forecast during the next few days, and Estelle could be a hurricane by Saturday night. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cone right here. It's expected to become a hurricane by either Saturday night or Sunday morning. We're going to pay attention to for you guys just as time goes on. It's expected to remain a hurricane into the week, even as it's moving through those cooler waters, which if we take a look right here, it's in 28 to 29 degrees Celsius water, so it's about 83, 84, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Plenty of warm water, plenty of weak wind shear for this thing to develop and organize as time goes on. This thing has done a really good job at its organization. The convection has been impressive all afternoon, and the winds have been increasing. So, yeah, that's why they went with that tropical storm upgrade right there. They found winds of 40 miles per hour. So, yeah, that's the situation we have right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the tracks and the intensity. Track models right here, basically all pretty much in agreement, although we do have a couple of models moving more towards the north later down the road. Track models have this being moving to the west-northwest or northwest, so yeah, this is going to be an interesting situation. It's going to stay out to sea, but still we have to pay attention to it nevertheless. The intensity models are also pretty interesting as well. We're now seeing an increased amount of models having this get up to Category 2 strength. By its peak intensity, although the vast majority of them keep it at Category 1 strength. The HMON, HWRF, and GFS are all interesting model runs that we're going to go over in just a second, but yeah, if this thing ends up becoming a hurricane, that's the 5th hurricane this season in the Pacific, Eastern Pacific, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. So, and already at this point we have an 80% ratio, an 80% hurricane rate essentially, which is really unheard of in this part of the world right here. Even a 50% rate is really of a hurricane or tropical storm names. It's really that's unheard of, but 80% is insane. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the HMON, HWRF, and GFS for you real quickly. The HMON is pretty interesting. This thing has this strengthening into a tropical storm in the next... Actually, no, this thing already has this thing strengthening in the next 18 hours. It's expected to become a hurricane in the next 24. And then it's, according to the HMON, and it's expected to ultimately bottom out around 980 millibars, 979, 980. And the HMON's looking at HMON here is, we are looking at potential Category 2 strength right here at its peak before it stagnates and slowly weakens as it moves through cooler waters. We're going to have to pay attention to it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the GFS right here. The GFS is this thing right here. It has it moving more towards the north, which is also kind of interesting right here. It's expected to strengthen into a hurricane in the next 24 to 36 hours. And then this pressure ends up bottoming out around 973 initially, around 971, 970, that area. Once again, it's strength either high-end Category 1 or low-end Category 2, according to the GFS, before it starts stagnating and weakening and eventually dissipating in the Eastern Pacific. So, yeah, these models have been getting quite aggressive recently. The HWRF has also been an interesting run because generally this is the most aggressive model run, and it still continues to be right now. The HWRF has this thing as a hurricane rather quickly, and then kind of slows down its intensity, and then it starts to strengthen even more, eventually bottoming out at 965 millibars, as likely a mid-range Category 2 hurricane at this point. So, yeah, this is an interesting situation. Like, the HWRF has always been the most aggressive one. Well, not always, but most of the time. And this thing eventually starts stagnating and starts slowly weakening as time goes on. So, yeah, this is an interesting situation we're going to have to pay attention to. We're looking at potentially the 5th hurricane in 6 named storms, which is really unheard of. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps me out. It helps me make more videos like these. But with that being said, guys, have a wonderful day. Stay safe.